I am 41 years old, and my wife Emma, who is 39, is planning to travel abroad to visit her sister and her family in a few days. She will be away for the next 2.5 weeks. Over the past year, Emma has become very good friends with our neighbor, Isabella, who is 37 and lives a few houses away. To sum it up, Isabella makes me feel uneasy, and I suspect she might be interested in me. At first, I thought she was just joking, and I didn't pay much attention to her behavior, but now it only makes me uncomfortable. Earlier today, Emma mentioned that she had spoken with Isabella and told her about her trip overseas. Emma said that Isabella offered to come by and drop off some food for me and our 11-year-old daughter Mia from time to time. Emma was hesitant to agree, but after Isabella insisted, she eventually said yes. I was surprised that Emma agreed without discussing it with me first, so I told her that it made me uncomfortable. Emma said that Isabella means well, and it would be rude to refuse now. I agreed, but I told her not to be surprised if Mia and I forget to answer the door whenever Isabella comes by. Emma said that I was being unkind to someone who is offering us help. Am I wrong? Update. Early this morning, I spoke to Emma about my concerns regarding Isabella's behavior. She said that Isabella has no hidden motives and only means well. Emma also mentioned that Isabella has her own husband and often talks about how great he is. For more context, Isabella is married, but her husband is away a lot because he works in the military. When I asked if Emma could tell Isabella that we don't need food deliveries, she said it would be awkward to mention it right before her trip, and that it would only be once or twice a week. Another thing Emma mentioned, which has increased my unease, is that Isabella gave her a spare house key for emergencies. For those curious, my wife is leaving a few hours past midnight tonight. Context. To clarify about the key, Isabella gave my wife a key to her own house, not to our home. Additional context. Isabella frequently engages in unnecessary physical contact, like hugging me whenever she sees me, which didn't bother me initially but now makes me uncomfortable. She has also made very suggestive comments in the past. Additionally, her way of dressing and body language when she visits our house seems a bit flirtatious. Reddit user comments. Have you ever talked to your wife about your concerns with Isabella? OOP replies. I have mentioned it once before. She didn't think much of it. She just said that it's how Isabella is and that she doesn't mean anything by it. Another Reddit user comments. It could lead to very awkward situations if you don't answer the door, and she knows you are home. OOP replies. That's why it's so frustrating. I really wish my wife hadn't told her about our plans. I guess my daughter and I will just try to be out most days. Another Reddit user comments. Emma is very naive. Trust your instincts. Never open that door. OOP replies. She is quite naive and sometimes too kind. But yes, once she leaves, I will tell my daughter not to open the door either. Another Reddit user comments. Record her secretly if you can. In this manner, if she attempts anything, you can present it to your wife. OOP replies. We have several cameras installed outside our house, so that's a point. Based on the past few months, I'm fairly certain she's trying something based on her behavior and what she has said. Perhaps she's merely being amicable, and I'm overanalyzing it. Still, the whole situation makes me uncomfortable. From what I've observed, she engages in unnecessary physical contact, makes suggestive comments, and her manner of dressing when she comes to our house also makes me uneasy. Update. I'd like to express my gratitude to all who replied to my initial post. I really appreciated your insights and support. I followed the advice given in the comments and installed a doorbell camera the day after my wife left. Fortunately, nothing significant has happened so far, so I didn't think there was much to update until recently. Here's the latest. Things have been relatively calm over the past few days. I've been enjoying spending quality time with my daughter Mia. She goes to a summer day camp during my working hours, but we've been spending every evening and the past weekend together watching movies, going on walks, and playing video games. Emma had planned to teach Mia how to cook this summer, but since that hasn't happened yet, I've taken the opportunity. I think Mia has a natural talent. She picks up instructions quickly, and we've been having a lot of fun. The day before yesterday, our neighbor, Isabella, came to drop off some food as she had promised Emma she would. I decided to open the door this time, but I let her know that she didn't need to worry about any more deliveries, as Mia and I would be cooking. She was acting normally until the very end when she said something like, "If there is anything else I can do for you, please let me know." She said it in a very flirtatious way. I thanked her and told her that I appreciated the offer but repeated that we would be able to manage on our own. She then said, "Well, if you ever want anything else, just let me know. Think of it as a replacement for Emma." This made me feel a bit uncomfortable, mainly because of the way she said it. The next morning, Mia and I were in a hurry to get to camp and work. Isabella appeared suddenly and started telling me that her driveway was being resurfaced and she needed a place to park her car for the next few days. She asked if she could leave it on our driveway, and I agreed since Mia and I were in a rush and she had dropped off food the previous night. As I was driving away, I mentally scolded myself, thinking that now she'd have a reason to hang around our house. Later that day, while I was at home doing some chores in our garage, Isabella drove up and mentioned again that her driveway was being resurfaced. I could see that it was indeed being worked on. We had a bit of small talk, but then she started complaining about her husband. She talked about how she sometimes felt unappreciated by him and how they don't spend much time together. I didn't say much, only that I felt sorry she felt that way. I glanced at my phone and pretended that Mia was texting me to come pick her up. I bid farewell and secured my home. The evening was mostly uneventful, and I'm looking forward to spending more time with my child. A Reddit user comments. It's good you installed that doorbell camera. Was it able to record what Isabella said to you? What inappropriate behavior from Isabella. I'm unhappy in my marriage, so let me try and intrude on someone else's. OOP replies. The sound quality isn't ideal, but fortunately, it captured her words. I feel like she's just trying to make me sympathize with her. Whenever he's here, her husband seems like a nice guy. However, I suppose I'm unaware of what occurs behind closed doors. Another Reddit user comments, I wish for you to present the video to your wife showing her advances toward you. OOP replies, definitely, I intend to share it with her when she returns from her journey. Update 2. I aimed to provide a brief update on recent events since my previous post. Emma will be back in a few days, and I didn't want to disrupt her trip or make her worry, so I've kept most of the details about Isabella from her until she arrives. From talking with Emma, I've learned that her sister does not like Isabella at all. Emma told me that she was quite upset about the arrangement and thinks Emma is too trusting. Other than that, things have been mostly quiet this week. Isabella's driveway has been finished, so she has taken her car back. Since then, I haven't had much contact with her. Update 3. Hey everyone, it's been a pretty eventful 24 hours. I'll provide a brief overview of recent happenings. Since Emma was coming home last night, Mia and I spent most of the day cleaning up. In the late afternoon, I decided to mow our lawn as it was time to do so. In the past, I have occasionally mowed Isabella's lawn, shoveled her driveway, etc. I do this because her husband has done similar things for us before, so I've always thought of it as a way of returning the favor. However, due to recent events, I decided it would not be a good idea, and I purposely mowed our lawn when her car was away, so that I could return to my house quietly. After putting away the mower, I saw Isabella's car pull into her driveway. As I was about to enter, she called out to me. She asked when Emma would be back. I told her that Emma's flight was scheduled to arrive tonight, and she seemed pleased about that. The day was warm, and I was perspiring slightly. She mentioned that I looked hot and suggested that Mia and I should come over for drinks. I expressed my gratitude for her offer but mentioned I was unable to accept, and the discussion mostly concluded at that point. Emma arrived home last night, a few hours after midnight, and was very tired from her flight. After I brought her some food, we only had a short conversation about her trip before she went to bed. I planned to discuss Isabella and show her the video the next day once she had rested, but she was still asleep in the morning, and I had to run errands. This is where things got complicated. After finishing my errands, I went home to spend time with Emma and tell her about the video. When I got home, Mia had already gone out with her friends, so it was just Emma and me. Emma appeared troubled, so I asked her what happened. She explained that after waking up, she got a text from Isabella D and went to Isabella's house. She noticed that Isabella's living room was messier than usual, but what upset her more was a pair of men's exercise shorts on the sofa. They appeared eager for her visit and extended an invitation. Emma agreed that the shorts were the same as a pair I used to own. I say used to, because those shorts disappeared about a month ago. There was also what Emma thought was a wrapper from a condom on the floor next to it. During their talk, Isabella mentioned how nice I had been and how much we had spoken while Emma was away. Isabella even suggested that Emma should have stayed longer at her sister's house so she could continue taking care of Mia and me. At that moment, Emma excused herself and went home. She said she felt overwhelmed and almost ill. She told me she came home worried about what Isabella might have meant, so she talked to her sister. Her sister dismissed Isabella's claims, as everything seemed too conveniently placed, which helped Emma feel a bit better. After sharing all this with me, Emma asked about my contact with Isabella while she was away. I told her about the food, the car, and the conversation from the day before. Then I showed her the video. Emma was shocked and said that Isabella was clearly trying to flirt with me. After watching it, she said she felt uncomfortable about all her interactions with her. The main issue that still concerns us is the shorts. I possessed a matching pair that has gone missing. We're unsure if the shorts Emma saw are mine, or if Isabella bought the same pair for her little stunt. As I mentioned before, Isabella has been to our house, so it's not impossible for her to have taken them. However, we lack proof of this. Considering how Isabella gave my wife her house key before she left, it all seems very well planned. Also, we're starting to suspect that her husband might be okay with what she's been doing. Emma plans to return the key in the next few days. A Reddit user comments, I'm actually worried about your wife's safety. OOP replies, yes, right now I am most concerned about my wife and daughter. I doubt that Isabella will do anything drastic and think she will continue with her current approach, hoping for different results. My wife has explicitly stated that she wishes not to return to her home. Yes, she definitely doesn't seem to be in her right mind. We will be taking extra precautions from now on. Another user comments, I find the shorts thing really odd. She's making it seem like you went over there in shorts and left in your underwear. OOP replies, my wife and I came to the same conclusion and laughed about it. Just imagining how ridiculous that would be. It helped alleviate some of the strain. For all of Isabella's scheming, it was a pretty funny mistake. So far, nothing else seems to be missing, but as we go on with our daily lives, we might notice something missing. We currently have a cat, and I'll check with my wife about getting a dog. If my daughter were aware, I'm confident she'd be enthusiastic about the idea. Another user comments, why do you suppose the husband is in agreement with the entire scenario? OOP replies, we don't have concrete evidence for this and are only making assumptions. Our thoughts are based on a conversation I overheard in the past. The first instance was during a neighborhood barbecue about 5 months ago, where I overheard him giving a very graphic description of Isabella to another neighbor. When the neighbor started making suggestive comments, he didn't seem to mind at all. To my wife and me, it didn't seem like an appropriate way to talk about one's spouse to a stranger. Another user comments, has your wife apologized for not taking your concerns seriously before she left for her trip? OOP replies, indeed, she has conceded that she ought to have considered my worries more seriously. Besides that, she is still quite disturbed by what she saw. Yes, the doorbell camera has proven its worth, and in addition to the cameras we already had, every angle outside our house is covered. It appears that, with the wife back home, she now trusts her husband, and they seem to be planning to distance themselves from the neighbor. It appears like Isabella has really turned up her behavior. Thank God you have the doorbell camera to prove your side of the story. Emma's response after watching the footage was rational given how bizarre Isabella had behaved. Everything seems deliberate on Isabella's part, from the missing shots to the protection. The thought that she might have been plotting something with respect to clothes being lost is really disturbing. I hope you and Emma manage to work it out and keep away Isabella. Please take care and be watchful. This situation is certainly not a joke,